Thank you for joining me on the journey. This is Completed Christianity, so welcome back. Another episode of Being Complete. And today is fifth day, what they say. And so today we're going to be talking about validation of ministry. So a lot of people, they want to say this particular stuff about ministry. Pastors and others will say, well, we don't need to keep the law of the Father anymore because our ministry is blessed. We see miracles in our people's lives and miracles in finances, signs and wonders in our meetings, and we're doing what we're called to do. So that's proof that we no longer need to be keeping the law, or at least it doesn't matter anymore. So these are typical things that people in ministry and people that are partial to their ministries that they'll say about the ministry that they're involved in. These things are not a proof of the validation of our ministry that we are, quote, right with the Father in our ministry. This statement and thinking, it's contrary to the Scriptures. Being contrary to the Scriptures, let's look at a few. Romans 11:29. For the gifts and callings of the Mighty One are without repentance. So, these gifts and callings, the Father places in each and every one of us. Each and every one of us has a call to fulfill in life that the Father has placed on our life. Even if you never know Him at all, He has a call on your life. He's not excluded anyone. And just like a secular singer, they have a gift and they have a calling, and they have a calling to sing, and they have been given this gift, are given the ability to hone that gift, but they don't use it for the Father. And this is what people do all over the world, and in business and stuff. They have a gift to you and a calling that the Father gave to them, but they don't use it for that. So a gift and a calling, that's not proof that your ministry is right before the Father, because these things are without repentance. That everybody has a gift and everybody has a calling. It's just a question of how you use it, but it doesn't validate a ministry. The passage in Matthew 7:21 through 23, you see these people that are ministering and producing signs and wonders and prophesying and casting out devils and doing miracles. But in this passage, these people, the Messiah says that He doesn't know them because they are anomia in the Greek. They are without law or lawless. The King James says iniquity, which is a beautiful way to kind of hide the overall point of what he's trying to say here. He doesn't know them because they are anomia or without law. So let's look at this word. So anomia in the Greek, it means illegality or violation of law. Recognized as the transgression of the law is way it's referenced in 1 John 3:4 as transgression of the law. And so this is down here, it's a condition of one without law, either because ignorant of it or because violating it. And so this law that he is talking about, there's only one law he's talking about. That's the law of his Father. He doesn't know them because they are without the law of his Father. So this puts people in a dangerous position. And there's kind of like a little balance here of where it's really close between you're without law or you keep enough law that you understand that you have to do right, live right to continue out your salvation, that that if you say and confess the Messiah and then you don't do what he does, then you backslide, you fall from that grace that he's given you. So Mark 13:22, for false messiahs and false prophets shall arise and show signs and wonders and lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. So these signs and wonders, they're not a validation that the Father is in your ministry. It could be the most spiritually dead place, but look really lively with these signs and wonders, because even in pagan religions and Hinduism and Islam, they have all of these signs and wonders that take place, but it's all completely devoid of the Father Creator. These false messiahs and false prophets here, they're able to show these signs and wonders, and it says this about the false prophet, that he even called down fire, but it's not a validation that your ministry is right before the Father and that you're obedient in your ministry before the Father. So, moving along, the magicians in Egypt, they also matched all the miracles that the Father allowed Moses to do. And then there's also Simon Magus, Simon the sorcerer. He practiced magic and amazed the people, and the people said that Simon was the power of the Mighty One, that he was the power of Yah. But he wasn't. He was working witchcraft. And so this is how easily it is for us to be deceived by a sign and by a wonder. Why the Messiah said that it's an evil and adulterous generation that seeks after the signs. You may be shown a sign legitimately from heaven, but seeking for the sign, it's a different thing. So this tells us that using signs and wonders as a measuring stick that our ministry is, quote, right with the Father, is poor discernment at best. Then what is the measuring stick? It's the same as for all individual believers. The same thing for a ministry goes for all individual believers, and it's our obedience to the word. So 1 John 2:4, the one who says, I know him, and does not guard his commands, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. The one who says he stays in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked. So you ought to walk even as Messiah walked and guard his commands. So he walked according to his commands, which are the commands of the Father. He is the Word. The commands of the Word, they are him. They are his commands. He is the commands. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He can't change. The Word can't change. So whatever was true in the beginning, whatever was true in Mount Sinai, whatever was true in the first century, it's still true today for all who would be believers in the Mighty One of Israel, the Mighty One of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are in Israel. You are part of Israel if you are of this scriptural faith. You once, like Paul says, you once were Gentiles, but now you're part of the commonwealth of Israel. So walk even as Messiah walked. And he was a Torah observant, Sabbath keeping, kosher eating, quote, kosher eating, tassel wearing Hebrew. Beloved, I write no fresh command to you, but an old command which you have had from the beginning. So the commands that he's talking about, to guard the commands, he's not saying anything different than what was said in the beginning. He's talking about the same commands. The commands are the commands of the Father, the commands given through Moses. There's no getting around it except by omission and ignorance. So Proverbs 28:9, he who turns his ear away from hearing the Torah, from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Revelation 12:17, and the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed, those guarding the commands of the Mighty One and possessing the witness of Yahshua Messiah. So the enemy, he's not just looking for those who confess Yeshua the Messiah. He's against those who not only confess Yeshua the Messiah, but keep the commands. So if he can separate either one of those from you, then he's got you where he wants you. If you're just possessing the witness of the Messiah and not the commands of the Mighty One, then he's got you in a place where he wants you. He's not worried about you in that case. You know, if you're like those in Judaism and you got the commands, but you don't got the witness of the Messiah, he's got you where he wants you. Revelation 14:12. Here's the endurance of the set apart ones. There are those guarding the commands of the Mighty One and the belief of Yeshua. So this right here is going to show us that this validation of ministry, these signs and wonders and saying that, oh, you know, we're doing what we're called to do and all of this stuff, it's not a validation of your ministry. Obedience is the validation of your ministry. Psalm 89:34, my covenant I will not break nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Comments of opposition are welcome. Just don't say anything dumb like we're not under the law. We're under grace because you've been taught to use that verse outside of the bounds of its intended context. Subscribe now. Smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notifications of all future videos.